Somewhere right now, a young Muslim woman is staring at a magazine cover, wondering if she will ever see herself reflected back. This is the story of a woman who answered that question, who made it onto those covers, who became the face millions of Muslim girls had been waiting for, and then walked away from every single one of them, not because she failed, not because the world rejected her, but because of something she discovered at the very top that she could not unsee. 9 magazine covers in a single year, not over a career. In 1 year, American Eagle, Etihad Airways, the cover of Allure, the cover of British Vogue, the pages of Sports Illustrated, runways in New York, runways in Milan, campaigns worth millions, a name that was becoming one of the most recognizable in fashion. She quit all of it. Not gradually, not quietly, not with a manager's statement and a graceful exit. She posted on Instagram, and she was done. To understand what she gave up, you first need to understand what she came from. She was born in a refugee camp, not near a refugee camp, not close to one, inside one. The Kakuma Refugee Camp in Kenya, one of the largest in the world. She spent her first 7 years there, surrounded by people from dozens of countries, speaking dozens of languages, united by the same hunger and the same uncertainty about tomorrow. Then her family received a call. They were going to America. Her first night in St. Louis, Missouri, she heard gunshots outside her window and turned to her mother and asked, "Is this really America?" The family moved again, this time to a small town in Minnesota with a large Somali community. There were teachers who stayed after school, people who looked like her, an English immersion program that finally gave her a foothold. Her name is Halima Aden. First Muslim homecoming queen at her high school, first Somali student senator at her college, and then the one that changed everything. The first hijab-wearing woman to compete in the Miss Minnesota USA beauty pageant. She walked onto that runway in a hijab and a burkini, and the world noticed. But before the runways and the covers, there was a test that came much earlier. Halima started wearing the hijab in middle school, not because anyone told her to, because she looked at her mother and wanted to be like her. But the other kids had questions. They teased her. But that pull between who the world wanted her to be and who she actually was never fully went away. The same test was coming again, except next time the entire world would be watching, and the price of failing it would be everything she had built. After Miss Minnesota, the fashion industry came to Halima Aden, not the other way around. New York Fashion Week, then Milan, CR Fashion Book, British Vogue, Allure, Sports Illustrated, 9 covers. Year 1, Muslim girls around the world saw themselves on newsstands for the first time. Halima was called a trailblazer, a pioneer, a symbol, and she was all of those things, but something was wrong. She was being dressed by people who did not understand her faith, given outfits without her input, styled by teams with no Muslim women in them. Nobody asked her opinion. They handed her the clothes and told her to look beautiful. She did not have the words for it yet, but the feeling had a name: Erasure. In late 2020, Halima Aden opened Instagram and started writing. What she wrote next would end her career in fashion forever. Expecting a Muslim woman to look as appealing and attractive as she can possibly be, so long as her hair is covered, is not representation. That is erasure. Halima Aden, she talked about outfits she never chose, about the absence of Muslim women on styling teams, about an industry that put her hijab on its covers and then treated it as a prop. She had been a symbol for Muslim women everywhere, but she had never felt like herself. But here is what made this story different from every other celebrity expose. She did not just blame the industry or the brands. She turned the camera on herself, and she wrote something most people never have the courage to say. I can only blame myself for caring more about the opportunity than what was actually at stake. I blame myself for being naive and rebellious. Halima Aden. She chose accountability over image. In a world where everyone has a narrative to protect, she tore hers apart. So what finally broke the cycle? What was the thing that cut through years of compromise and told her, enough? Through all of it, the covers, the campaigns, the compromises, one person never wavered: her mother. While the world was celebrating Halima as a pioneer, her mother was watching, quietly, holding firm to her values. She did not lecture, she did not issue ultimatums. And when the doubts came, when the discomfort Halima had been pushing down finally rose to the surface, it was her mother who opened her eyes to what had actually been happening. There is a kind of parenting that does not need words, that works through consistency, through example, through an unshakable sense of who you are. That was her mother. There is a teaching of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that sits at the center of this entire story. Whoever seeks the pleasure of Allah at the cost of the displeasure of the people, Allah will be pleased with him and will cause the people to be pleased with him. And whoever seeks the pleasure of the people at the cost of the displeasure of Allah, Allah will be displeased with him and will cause the people to be displeased with him. Tirmidhi. Halima had spent years making the second choice, not out of weakness, not out of a lack of faith, but out of something most of us recognize: the desire to be accepted, to be seen. The fashion industry had offered her all of that on its own terms, and for a while she took it. And then came the day she stopped. Let's be clear about what Halima Aden actually walked away from. Not a difficult job she was unhappy in, not a contract she could renegotiate, not a single opportunity she could walk back to. She quit everything. She quit the covers, the campaigns worth millions. She quit the partnerships with global brands, the platform that had given Muslim women something they had never had before. She quit being the face of an industry that had finally, for the first time, made space for a woman who looked like her. She quit all of it. And she did it knowing that millions of Muslim girls were watching, knowing that some of them would feel abandoned. She quit anyway. But here is what no one tells you about what she found on the other side. Peace, not the kind that comes with a Vogue cover, the kind that comes when you stop asking the world for permission to be yourself. Halima's story is extreme. Most of us will never be offered a magazine cover, but the pressure she felt, that is not rare at all. It is the pressure to soften your Islam at work so you seem more professional. It is the pressure to skip Salah when the meeting runs long because you do not want to seem difficult. It is the slow, quiet accumulation of small compromises that, one day, you look back on and do not recognize yourself. Halima reached the very top of an industry, and the view from there showed her something no cover could hide. The world will always offer you an opportunity. The question is what you are willing to leave at the door to take it. She quit every single thing the world told her to want, and in return, she got back something the world could never have given her: her identity, her peace, and her closeness to Allah. Because faith is the source of our honor, and closeness to Allah is the source of our happiness. She did not lose her career, she chose her Deen. And she has never looked back.